G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 3 of my Fire Pets Cabalist playthrough, where I left you at the end of the last episode having just finished Act 1 killing Warden Krieg. We went through and did all of our component stuff, and I left you with the task to go and kill Warden Krieg again and get yourself a second copy of his weapon. Now I have gone and done that, and I hit level 20 just before, or as I killed him. I can't remember if it was just before or actually from the Warden Krieg kill, but I've hit level 20. So I'm going to put it into Physique. We're up to 14 in Physique, nothing in Cunning, and 5 in Spirit. And for the skill points, we are going to be maxing Will of the Crypt here. Now, the next 2 levels are going in here because this is flat vitality damage, which increases all of our skeleton damage, percentage vitality damage, which increases all of our skeleton damage, elemental damage, which increases the fire damage from the mages, because their spells do fire damage, and I think they do vitality as well. I haven't checked for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly fire with a little bit of vitality. And then the armor and vitality resistance, honestly, kind of doesn't matter. After that, we'll be putting 5 more points in the bar, getting a couple in Call of the Grave, 1 in Rotting Fumes, and we'll be maxing out the Blight Fiend. Now, the reason why I told you to go and get a second one of these, and again, I've got the of Binding here, which is quite good. Again, it's not really needed, but it is quite a good pet suffix. But you just want to get any 2 of these, and if you have one of them that has 100% physical to Aether, and let's say your other one has 83%, just use the one with 100%, and don't worry about the affixes for now. We will be using both of them after we kill Cronley, at which point 80%, which is the minimum roll, plus 80% is more than 100%, and so it doesn't really matter. So get yourself 2 of these, any 2 realistically, and then we'll be on our way. So, let's go ahead and summon these. And at this point in the guide that I wrote, I have us starting Forgotten Gods and sort of running through here, doing it as quickly as we can to get to the Corvin City area, or at least the second half, all the Infernal Wastes and all that sort of area, where we can kill Korvac's Rage Flames, which are the big chunky dudes like this with flaming swords for arms. The issue with doing that is that the fire conversion honestly doesn't matter so much until you get these 2 pets online. And this is going to happen probably somewhere around level sort of 30 to 35, maybe even as late as level 40, depending on what we do. So we're perfectly happy being Aether damage for now. So instead of going into Forgotten Gods now and going all through here and having my pets chewed up because they have 0 elemental resistance, and Forgotten Gods is absolutely packed with elemental damage, we're instead going to go and do Act 2 up to Cronley. So, sorry Emissary, we will come and talk to you, but not yet. Realistically speaking, this part, it doesn't really matter. You could go straight into Forgotten Gods, get up to the part where you farm the Burning Blade, actually farm it, and then convert to fire, and it'll be fine. And then you'll come into Act 2, and you'll be a little higher level, probably have some better gear, and you'll walk through this place like you own it, and you'll end up at roughly the same place. So realistically, it doesn't hugely matter. 20% chaos resistance is a helmet that I want to hang on to until the second half homestead. I'll probably come back and get another one at that point, and I'll have carried that thing the whole time for no particular reason. Another thing to point out is that now is a good time to turn the magic items off. You should have at least magic, probably better than magic, in every slot. And so these are just for bits, and honestly, we don't need the bits after we've done our crafting at the end of Act 1. So I'm going to turn that off, and it will only show me now items that have a green affix on them. So this one is yellow, but this has green on it, so it's going to show me this one. And I'm going to continue picking those up to sell, because we do need some iron bits, but we don't need anywhere near as much as we did at the end of Act 1. because we won't really be buying a whole lot of stuff. These guys here, the Earthen Shamblers, really need to be high priority targets when you run into them. They throw rocks at you, similar to the boss in Act 1 that will also throw rocks at you, and those rocks really hurt. Stephen Skinner, you've got a bunch of different options with him. It doesn't really matter which one you pick. I tend to just put my mouse here at the bottom of the top option. Spam click, that'll send them all back to Devil's Crossing. You can talk to them in the back of the prison and get a nice ring. I probably won't be using that ring because, well, because double Marrow Band, which is ridiculously lucky. But we will be changing away from those at some point. Actually, I should be doing it now. So, okay, I am going to go get that ring, and I'll probably shop a second one just to get rid of these. Losing +4 to raise skeletons does hurt, but having 34% of my Aether damage converted away to Vitality is... it's not great. Alright, let's kill this totem. These guys, you do have to be careful for these guys because they will throw nets on you, and then you can't run away. Double royal jelly extract, so that's nice. Watch this as it just disappears into the ether. Where did it go? Alright, what do we got here? None of these are pet things. Subjugators of rituals, kinda yes. But if we look at... where is it? It was an offhand, right? Yeah. So the Subjugators is giving us that 22% all damage, and then Rituals is the Elemental Seal proc and whatever elemental damage. So we don't care about that one. So our next step, after checking for this totem, is to go and get the Devotion Shrine just in this first cave, kind of here-ish. Also, free XP here. Never say no to free XP. Aetherfire rank 3. And I mentioned this last time, but you'll see here that we have 70 fire and 260 Aether. And that number, you can safely ignore it. Does it change here? No, it doesn't. Because that number scales based not on our character's damage, which is what it's showing, but based on our pet damage, which it actually doesn't show, but just trust me, it scales based on pet damage. Any devotion you attach to a pet will scale based on pet damage and not on player damage, but it will show you that it's scaling on player damage. So it can be a little confusing, but it definitely has been tested. So these guys, again, the Mossy Shamblers, you just saw that one throw a rock. You definitely don't want to get hit by those, they really hurt. And I have been playing the level 100 version of this particular character not too long ago. So button 2 and button 3 on my high level version of this character are attacks that need to be chained. And it's doing my head in, I won't lie. Okay, something like this, during the leveling process, you might be tempted to use an item like this, but realistically, Dominators as a prefix is not very good. What we want while we're leveling is we want to max out our resistances, and then we want armor and health. We don't really care so much about 14% pet damage. You can get a couple of items with it, but generally speaking, you just want defensive stats for the player. Because even though your tank pet, your smelly potato there, will be able to tank once we put some more points into him, there's still a whole load of goop on the ground, and there's always going to be something that gets past him and the boys. So you do need to be able to take a hit, and not having max resistances is a really good way to end up back on the character select screen with a ghost for a character. Alright, let's get this done. And you'll see these things will kill, the skeletons will kill these guys pretty quickly. There's level 21, which means it's time to resummon the entire army. We will have +1 additional skeleton because of that, so our max is now, where are we? 9. I think it's actually going to be 10, but anyway. We will see. Maybe I didn't hit a breakpoint. Oh no, we're not getting extra skeletons, are we? We're just getting more damage. So yeah, just ignore that I said that. That's completely wrong. We're not getting extra bodies. The bodies we have are just getting stronger. Also, points into the Shepherd's Crook here. So a little bit of cunning and health for the player. The thing we really want though is Shepherd's Call here, and the sooner we get this, the sooner we can start leveling it up, which we do want to do. Now you can head straight back out that cave exit there and continue on if you wish. I'm going to go in through here. I'm going to kill Darius Cronley here for no reason at all. And I'm going to get the Exalted Stash that's standing next to him, because I want another useless blue item to sell. I also need to go and swap these rings out at some point. The Marrow Band rings are actually quite good because those little dogs do taunt, which will lock the enemies onto them, whereas the Smelly Potato doesn't taunt yet. Maven's Tome, yep. Completely useless. But we can sell it for bits. Alright, Darius Cronley down. Picked up a blueprint, which is not bad. And I was going to say now we can head out and... we can. Now we can head out and get the next Rift Gate. Then I'm going to go back to town and go and talk to Stephen Skinner and his very safe, not at all burned in their house family. And I'm going to grab that ring and probably will just shop another one from a vendor. Okay, these guys here, these Deathbolt Archers. Actually, do we have Deathbolt Archers yet? I'm not sure. The Archers themselves are going to be doing a decent amount of damage to us. But we'll be doing a lot less because we have capped pierce resistance at this point. So that is definitely a good thing. We also need to go and talk to Isaiah Redden here, or his friend first, and then Isaiah Redden. But before we do that, let's just go ahead and resummon the boys, get the rift, and now we'll go back. So Isaiah Redden, honestly nowhere near as important as he used to be. I used to say that you absolutely want to have him in your homestead town because he will sell you resistance potions. However, with the changes to how potions are used in, I think it was patch 1.2, he doesn't really matter anymore. So what I'm going to do actually is, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and I'm going to actually kill him. Let's just go off the map here and grab the loot first. But we're going to pretend that we buy the sob story of Old Maid over there. And we're going to kill Isaiah Redden instead of asking him for his side of the story, realizing that that Mr. sitting on the floor there is bleeding out for a very good reason, and getting Isaiah in our town. So realistically, not a huge deal either way, but definitely can be some decent stuff from him. Now, I'm looking for pet stuff on my rings. I'm also looking for something like this. 34% poison resistance would be quite useful. You'll notice that this is a magic ring. So purging is a magic prefix, and that's where that poison and acid resistance is coming from. And then of the eagle is the physique, cunning, and spirit. And then the gold band comes with some regen baked in. That's probably going to be my best bet. And it's relatively cheap as well, 4,000. So that's about 10% of my current money. I'm going to buy that. And unfortunately, that's going to kill all of my skeletons. And we're back down to 19 out of 16. So I could put this back on, bring us back up to 22. But you know what? The chances of anybody else getting double Marrow Ring is pretty much 0. So we're just going to use these ones and pretend that I didn't find them. And I'll chuck them in the stash and forget about them. So we'll put them in there. Do I have any corpse dust? I do, so we'll chuck some corpse dust on the rings, just for some extra health there. And I think we're good to go now. Do I want to swap this helmet? Aether instead of Chaos. I think I'm going to keep the Aether resistance for now. I will definitely be wanting some Chaos resistance later. But for right now, Aether is a little more present in the world, shall we say. Alright, let's head back to the Yakovian foothills, and we're going to go and kill Isaiah Redden. Now, the upside of playing the stupid idiot and killing Isaiah instead of talking to him is that we'll get a really nice chaos resistance ring. The downside, of course, is that he will not be available in Homestead for us to use as a second merchant. So we're going to kill him. He dies pretty easily, and later we will actually find his daughter, who old mate back here was allegedly, at least, attempting to rape, and we're going to kill her as well. The things we do in the pursuit of power. So the ring we'll get out of that is decent and comes with a pile of chaos resistance on it. And honestly, Isaiah's potions are nowhere near as useful as they used to be. So we're just going to do it the other way. In spite of the fact that I really don't like Drew Larkin. For obvious reasons. Okay. So we have agreed to fetch the Elder's amulet. Or not amulet, the relic. We're going to return that. You could keep it and you would have a relic with, I think it's 5% to all stats, and then the activatable gives you extra damage for the player, not for your pets, and some energy regen, so it's just a few extra stats instead of equilibrium. I strongly recommend equilibrium instead, but we've agreed to go and fetch that for them, and I'm going to give it back to them. And we also need to go through the mine, find the dynamite, and blow up the gate that the bandits have set up. So let's go through here. There's also a potential totem in this area, which we could go and have a look for. Adept Circlet. These, I used to think these were pretty bad, but the Adept Circlet can have either a prefix or a suffix. So you can get additional resistances on top of this 12% to each. So this could be quite good, depending on what rolls, but I'd probably honestly never make it. It's one of those things where you have to think about making it at the right time, have the stuff available for it, get a good roll, and it's just, there's too many layers. So we're in here, we're looking for 3 royal jellies. There's a good chance you'll get 3. There's also a decent chance that you won't. But the plan, at least, is to get 3. You want to more or less just mouse over all these wasp nests and go and hit them with your stick. And you want to collect, like I said, 3. More is better. Less is not ideal. And then this guy right here, where is he? Nicholas Balthazar. This guy is probably going to kill several of the pets, or at least he would if he'd stop chasing me and hit them. Maybe he's not going to kill any of my pets because he's just going to be chasing me around like an idiot. Yep, there we go. And he's got a medal, so if you didn't craft one, you could use this one. This is not as good as the one I'm currently using anyway, so I'm not going to use that. But you definitely could. As my dishwasher playing a song for you. Forever immortalized in this video. Alright, so the Windborn Greaves here. The Howling Wind is decent. The chance to freeze things that come near you is pretty good. The movement speed on them is also pretty good. And the armor downgrade is the reason why I'm honestly not going to use them. Same with the Murderer's Breastplate here. The conversion on that we don't care about. A lot of the stuff on this we don't really care about. That Ring of Steel proc, who cares? And same with the helmet. I think we can actually swap that one in now. I probably do need the Aether more than the Chaos, but the extra armor is really good. And I do want my anti-venom salve back. So we came in here for the dynamite. Let's go ahead and grab that. And we will continue on our way. There are some more bees over here, and we definitely want to be killing them. At least until we have 3 royal jellies. Although, I'm going to go into the hive to get another one anyway, so... whether it actually drops for me here or not, I'm still going to go into the hive, but if you get 3 from in here, looks like I haven't got 3, so I'll have to do it regardless. But if you get 3, then you can skip the hive later on. Okay, we're going to head north, and I'm a little bit traumatized about the totem that can spawn right here. So I was planning on just ignoring that, because I've lost a couple of characters to that totem now, and I've just decided it's not worth it, and we're going to ignore it from now on. Okay, talk to Elder Matthias here. He's going to give you the Ivory Talisman, or the Bone Talisman. This is a quest item currently. It will turn into a relic when you turn the quest in and don't give it back to them. Or it'll be removed from your inventory if you turn it in and do give it to them. Should actually go and poke my head into Forgotten Gods, just to get the movement rune. In fact, I think we'll do that once I get to the next Rift Gate. We could do a little bit of running here. These guys that look like they have the fire helmet on, often will have the fire helmet on. This one looks like it's going to be a little bit better. Armor is the same, fire damage we don't care. 3% physique, more chaos resistance. Yeah, I think that's slightly better. Ever so slightly better. Okay, here is Josephine Redden, and a lot of you who have played through this many times before may not know that she can appear here. Because we killed her father. And then she watched us threaten her father and murdered him. And let's just you don't stand a chance. Which is true. So she dies very, very easily, and she drops this ring. Now this is a level 32 ring, so we won't be wearing this until we get to Homestead. I think there's a lower level version as well if you happen to get here a little earlier. But the reason why I've decided to show this particular way to do this quest is because when we get to level 32-ish, when we start the right-hand side of Homestead, we're going to have, or we're going to want to have, chaos resistance. And this is one way, admittedly it's a very scummy way, but it's one way to have a bit extra chaos resistance. So it can be worth doing for a fresh start character. If you happen to have a whole bunch of twink gear, and you're just putting on, you know, whatever legendary or double rare items that you happen to have laying around from your 20 million other characters, then you probably don't need it. But for everybody else, it is actually a pretty good ring. Okay, there's level 22, so as soon as we're done murdering all of the bees to death, we'll come over here and get the last of them. Alright, we've now maxed out Will of the Crypt, which means our skeletons are as strong as they're going to get from skill points. 36 flat vitality damage is pretty good. So that's about as good as our Skellies are going to get without more gear. And now it's time to start putting points into the Blight Fiend, start putting points in the bar. We want to get at least 1 point in Rotting Fumes. We want to get at least 1 point in Call of the Grave. And then after that, we want to start looking at the occultist side of things. We want to get our elemental auras online, as well as the extra pets. So I am kind of nosing in here a little bit. I do want to... I've actually got all of my pets. I was going to say I do want to wait until I have all of my pets, but apparently I've got them all. What we want to do here is we want to just go through, kill off all the bees, click on any rocks or anything like that. I'm here for another royal jelly. And you are guaranteed to get royal jelly from killing the queen of the hive. So we may as well just murder the entire hive. Despised with the beast, which is... doesn't really matter, let's be honest. But we are looking for the queen. Queen's going to be kind of over here-ish. And she does have some loot as well. The queen's monster infrequent amulet is not really something we're interested in on this character. We do want to stay kind of close to her, because if you're close to her, she won't do her big shotgun attack. If you try and stay at range, she's quite likely to do the shotgun attack, and it's really going to hurt. So there's our first resistance potion. This one is going to reduce the duration of freezing effects on us. What do we got here? Doom Bolt. Mostly I'm looking at the resistance here. Pierce and Cold. It's kind of whatever. Having said that, our current gloves are also kind of whatever. So anyway. We did get 2 royal jellies from the Queen. Unyielding of readiness. No. Alright. Hive's done. Let's get out of here. Go ahead and refresh the pets as well. So as I said before, if you have already got your 3 royal jellies from in the mine here, in this mine, then you don't need to do this hive. You can, absolutely you can. You can get some good loot out of it maybe. But you can quite happily skip that if you wish. This is the shrine that needs a frozen heart. So I mentioned this back in episode 1 or 2. But we're going to have that one and chuck it straight in here. So our pets have now got some elemental resistance. So when they are standing in the fire, they will melt slightly slower. They will still melt, but it will be a little bit slower. Okay, I'm going to put that point in physique as well. I'm terrible at remembering to spend my stat points, or my attribute points. Okay, from here, we're going to go back to the Arcovian foothills. We've got some quests to turn in here. One of which is going to give us a second inventory bag, which is pretty nice. And then Graven here, found the Elder. You can either lie and keep the talisman, which will give you the relic, or you can give it to him, and you'll get some iron and some reputation instead. I do believe that unless you want to use the relic, it is definitely better to give it to him and get the extra reputation. Inventory bag expansion, so we now have a second little bag over here. So that's going to be lovely. More storage space to fill up with rubbish that we can turn into bits. Let's have a quick look at rings here. I'm not expecting to find anything amazing. That's not bad, that's a lot of health. Honestly, mostly looking for resistances though, so nothing too amazing there. Rangers of the Wild, that's actually a pretty good one. I'm unlikely to find anything better than that with magic affixes, and yeah, it doesn't look like I have. Okay, I did mention we're going to poke our nose into Forgotten Gods just to get the movement rune, and that is absolutely a thing that's going to happen. So we'll go talk to Mornay while we're here, why not?
Well, you worked here. We have to hit them hard and fast.
Okay, and we'll agree to go and discover Elsa's fate. We will actually find Elsa later, but she wants nothing to do with him anymore. Which is funny. Okay, let's go through here. Now, when it comes to these 3 factions, Bismael is the quote-unquote pet choice. But Soleil here, if we have a look, if we just do a search for skeleton, you'll see these are flashing, and that's because Soleil has raised skeleton helmet and chest piece, and at level 65 over here you have the lower level version, but we actually don't need this. I can't show it, but the Coven actually has the helmet and chest, sorry, chest and shoulders I think it is, that we are going to use. So it actually doesn't matter if we choose Soleil for the skeleton side of it, or if we choose Bismael for sort of generic elemental pet stuff, or even if we choose to side with Drieg in normal. It really doesn't matter. They're all decent choices, kind of except Drieg, really, let's be honest. So I'm going to make my decision based on not on the gear that's available, because by the time we get to level 65, we're probably not going to be able to use these anyway. But even if we are able to use them, this is +2 to Rotting Fumes for us, and +2 to Infernal Breath for the Hellhound. This one is Emboldening Presence, which we don't have that pet. Hellfire, which we do, and Overload, which I want to say is an Arcanist skill. And then +2 to Hellfire, which is the only skill points on here that matter. So Bismail is not really relevant. So I'm going to make my decision based on the movement rune. And I happen to prefer the Rush skill, so I'm going to be siding with Soleil. I know in... Ooh, that's nice. No. I know in the written guide, I said that you should pick Bismail, and that is kind of true. Bismail's quests are much easier and much faster to get through. It's quite literally, go to the Temple of Osea, kill a few statues to pick up the 3 bloods, come back, talk to them, go through the big green portal that's going to be just here, kill 1 boss at the end of the very small area, and you're done. At that point, you run to the Vanguard of the 3, and then you can start farming for your dagger. The Soleil questline is a little bit longer than that. It's still not hugely longer, but it's more than nothing. So, I'm gonna do Soleil. You can do Bismail if you prefer. It doesn't really matter. You might have to spend an extra 10 minutes or so. Alright, let's go do this little trial here. We'll get our movement rune, and we will be on our way. So, Kanatha here. Let's get this over with. So, our pets at this point, we've got a little bit of elemental resistance, which is nice, but they will kind of melt decently quickly to the Forgotten Gods enemies. Especially if they're standing in poison like that. So, we'll just drag them out here. You can see here, we've got 2, 1... Do I hear 0? The wraiths here that you kill,
that skill's not ready.
They put a fire dot on your pets that will spread through your entire army and constantly be hitting them for fire damage.
Yeah.
So pretty much every time you kill a wraith, you're going to lose a couple of skeletons. Explorer set is decent, but I'm not going to make them for this particular character. The Briarthorn band, I actually had thought that was a pet ring. Turns out it's not. Stanching of Scorched Runes is actually pretty decent. Do I need the resistances on that? Piercing, no. Bleeding, no. Elemental, no. Okay, so... No, I don't need it. But yes, going through Forgotten Gods at this level is an exercise in constantly resummoning your skeletons, which, that's not the end of the world. And you're going to be resummoning fairly regularly anyway. Okay, so I am going to join the Cult of Soleil, and then I'll tell them that I'll be back soon. And by soon, I mean after I kill Cronley. This does, however, let us buy the first little tab of Soleil, and I like the emblem of the Charging Bull, so I'm just going to buy a few of those, chuck one of those on a medal, and now we have a movement skill. So we can move around a little bit quicker. Alright, let's pop on over to Old Arcovia here, and we've got some more conversation pie to eat. There is the little village down here. We can go save them after. I'll be honest, I usually forget all about them. Not the end of the world. Alright, what do we got? Big old ogre troll thing over here. What's his name? Golgoth the Rampaging. We'll go kill him. So he should die decently quickly between the NPC fire and all of our dudes beating on him. He should die relatively fast. Our skeletons, of course, standing in the fire as well because they're a little bit special. And I didn't specifically tell them not to. Alright, our skeletons don't get any better, so we don't have to worry about spending points and unsummoning them anymore. Let's go ahead and beeline for this. So next level I'm going to put 1 point in probably rotting fumes. Then we'll get one in Call of the Grave, then we'll max out the smelly potato. Alright, maybe I do need to go do that quest just to get him to talk to me. Nah, we'll leave it. That quest is much easier to do later, when you can just walk in and say, hey, problem's fixed. Thanks for the XP. Alright, in this cave here, Hanafi Mine, there's a couple reasons why I usually come into the Hanafi Mine instead of walking up the road. First one is if you walk up the road, there's a decent chance you will run into Ascidian or Wrecked by Protoss, and then they will kill you. Because they are NPCs based on characters that won a PvP tournament, and so those NPCs are designed to kill player characters. So that's the first reason, you want to dodge them.
That skill's not ready.
The second reason is there is a guaranteed dynamite in here, and also there is Hallian's Whittle Rat, and somewhere over here there is Hallian the Rat. He has a medal that has bonuses to Hellhound, which doesn't really matter so much right now, but later we will probably want to have one of those. And the other thing is it comes with pet bonuses sort of as a default. So getting our hands on them is probably a decent idea. Alright, I am going to use pet attack to command my entire army to kill Hudson here. And then we'll worry about Hallian on his own. His Whittle Rat's coming, which is not ideal. Ideally I want to kill him just on his own. Doesn't really matter as long as he dies. Now, he's dropped me a +3 raised skeleton medal, so I'm going to use this one. Getting another 3 levels on my skeletons is really, really good. Unfortunately, that does mean... Where is it? Does mean I now have to go back to town, because I want my wardstone back from the previous relic, or previous medal, sorry. And it also means that I need to put another movement rune on there and re-put that, where is it, rush on my hotbar. We've successfully not unsummoned our raised skeletons, which is very strange. I fully expected them to all disappear, but they're still there, so that's fun. And now I'm just going to walk in here, grab the dynamite, click on anything, like this scrap pile here can have another dynamite, or a scrap. And we're just going to leave. Taskmasters on the boot is not bad, although at this level, kind of doesn't matter. I'm just going to resummon all my skeletons because I'm convinced that they are level 19 skeletons in spite of the skill point increase there. Okay, and we're going to continue along the top here. This little section can be fun, can be incredibly annoying, but it can be fun. We are looking for the forges. We have got the quest. Apparently if you don't have the quest, they don't count. You have to exit the menu to respawn them and come back in, which is kind of annoying. Happened to me this one time. We are also going to go around here, and I'll spin the camera around so you can see it. We're going to pick up this hidden spoils. Now again, you are almost certainly not going to find anything worth the time it takes to wander over there. That's kind of okay, just for the armor increase, honestly. But realistically, it doesn't matter. That kind of hurt, whatever that was. Devastating of Readiness, that could be a new helmet for me. Let's just have a quick look here. 17 Spirit instead of 3% Physique, more OA and DA, and slightly more resistances. I'll swap that in. And now we can just more or less walk through this section. Once more, the skeletons will just kill stuff as you run past it. So we don't even really need to fight these things. That's my 3 forges. Let's come down here and kill good old Boomer Slocum. Wildcaller's Cowl and the Explorer's Hat. Okay. So I know I said I wasn't going to make the Explorer set this time. But they are worth XP bonus for every piece. And with 2 pieces you do get 8% total speed. So I could go and make the Explorer's pants and get 8% total speed and 10% XP gain. Or I could put the Wild Caller's hat on, get myself a nice defensive proc when I get hit, get myself an armor upgrade, a huge amount of health. Yeah, I'm going to do that. we're going to go with the skull helmet. Alright, if at this point you haven't got your 3 forges, there is another one just up here. But we are going to head into Cronley's house. We're going to kick the door down, walk in like we own the place, steal his girlfriend, drink all his beer, and then moonwalk out like we own the place. Because honestly, we kind of will. Also, this hat looks really good from here. Let's see, there's our Earth Ward there, so that's going to give us, what's it, armor, regeneration. Yeah, 52 regen a second and 30% increased armor. It's pretty good. Do be careful in this area here. The guy who lives here, Moneybags Martin, does a lot of fire damage. He will kill your pets, and then he will kill you. So just be careful of him. More or less, just don't stand in the fire, and you should be fine. Alright, we want to go down here. The totem could be here. If it is, just go ahead and click on it. It's decently easy. Good XP, good loot. But we do want to come down here for the Annals of Arcovia, and also because of, not these, I'm just clicking on these because I like loot, but this Devotion Shrine. Now the Wild Caller's Decapitator is a 2-handed axe, so we're not using it. And the 2-set bonus is also not useful, so we're not using it. But we are using the helmet for that set, so I guess that's kind of a little bit interesting, maybe. Alright, and our next Devotion Shrine, which will be Twin Falls, I believe, if I go and do it, we'll get the Shepherd's Call proc there, which is really, really good. So I probably will do Twin Falls just to get that. For now, we're done in this little hole, though. There is some loot hidden in the wall over here, but it's a decent run and probably not going to be worth very much in terms of effectiveness for the loot. Alright, we're going to go through here. If you didn't go into the Beehive and you still need the Royal Jelly, there is a bee section down here. Something I think most people either don't know about or deliberately avoid because it's all the way over here, kind of out of the way. But we do have a bee section here, so we can get some components from them. The Spine Carapace comes from insects. Royal Jelly comes specifically from bees, either hero bees or the wasp nests on the ground. And the actual reason I came over here is because I wanted to kill a few extra Cronley's gang members. There is a hero that spawns around here, but that might actually be a bounty hero. And there is loot in the walls. Where is it? Must have been one of these walls down here. Or maybe it's over here? No, not sure. There's loot in the walls there somewhere, though. Also, we could have Doreni here. I killed him back in Act 1, so he's not here. So if you find a dude here, it's because you didn't kill him in Act 1's town. Which, in my opinion, is a little bit of a mistake. But he can be useful for farming negative reputation with the Cronley's gang. Alright, and these Ascended guys, these are really good for gear as well. They can have glowing shoulders and glowing helmets. They typically are the only source of the helmet, aside from the occasional hero that may drop them. And the helmets are actually pretty good. They come with Aether resistance as standard. Not really something we need for this character, but they're nice to have. Alright, come down here because loot in the wall. I know I didn't go and get the last one because it was miles out of the way. This one is also miles out of the way, but hey, I never said I wasn't a hypocrite. Alright, we're pretty much done. And I didn't find Moneybags when I came through here. I didn't find him here. And then I didn't actually go here, so he could have been there. Actually, it would have been here. I think I would have picked him up when I ran through this way, but he could be there. However, I suspect he's going to be here in this next room. So I'm going to go get this totem first, because I love me some totems. Free XP is always good. So pop the totem, kill all the Aether Fools. There's level 24. And looks like one of our totem heroes has spawned on the other side of the wall, which is a little bit annoying. Alright, get him, boys. There we go, that's the end of him. Spirit Eater Bulwark, bunch of other stuff. Probably not going to use any of it, but hey. Loot is loot. We'll check the chest though. Nah, none of that. Blue's no good. Guardsman's Defender also no good. Yeah, none of that I think is going to be any use for me, but I will sell it. Alright, where's Moneybags? There he is. Moneybags Martin. Like I said, you want to watch out for all the fire goop he's going to put on the floor. And otherwise, just kill off his friends first. Then kill him off, and it's really not that big of a deal. Alright, down he goes. The Crown of Command. Pretty good pet helmet. Not amazing, but decent. I'm not going to use that one. Although I definitely could. Alright, let's see if we can Jenga this and do a little bit better job than the computer did at it. Turns out that's not particularly difficult. There we go, we can get a couple extra pieces in there at least. Do we have any belts? We don't, but we can get, you know, a few extra pieces now. Okay, Cronley's lair, or Cronley's house, blocked by this door. First time you fight him, he's going to want to talk. So you can come in, you can kill all his crystals, you can walk around, you can, you know, pee on his chair, whatever you want to do. You can't open his chest because it's locked by this idiot here. And no matter what you choose here, you're going to have to fight him. So I'm just going to click on the something like that die section. And we're going to put a decent hurting on him, and then his health is going to stop moving. At that point, you want to order your pets to come around, or to follow you around. Because if you just kind of leave them, they'll stand in all the aether and die. So, you can see I'm already down to 3 skeletons, the Blight Fiend's dead. We're going to end up kiting him around while our skeletons plink arrows at him. And that's fine. He'll put his shield up again. When he does put his shield up, he's got about 95%, I think it is, damage resistance. You're basically not going to be able to kill him at that point. He's going to take very little damage. But since we're running around in circles anyway, it doesn't really matter. There we go. He's vulnerable now, so we can probably take a few hits. You definitely do not want to be standing in anything that looks like it might be green. I know the pets do summon that green stuff, but he also summons it, so some of this green is pain. And you don't want to stand in it. Alright, let's get the boys out again, refresh everything, heal them all up. Eat the blueprint. And let's have a look at that ring. Now, Cronley's ring is not amazing for a pet build, but it does come with piercing resistance as standard, and you can get some good stuff on them. Looks like this one is not particularly good, so I won't probably be using that, which is fine. We are going to pop his chest here, and we're going to have to sell some stuff, because I think I want to use those gloves. In fact, I know I want to use those gloves. Look at all that armor. Required level 5. I don't think so. We'll just chuck that component on there.
My inventory is full.
I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I don't believe you. Let's just go and grab these. Now, the crystal here, you've got 2 choices. Destroy the laboratory and the crystal will get you a bunch of components and I think some 8th crystals. This will get you Wrathstones and I think an Aether Soul potentially. The one you want to pick though, especially on hardcore, is destroy the laboratory and keep some of the crystal for yourself. So I didn't have room for it, but this would normally go straight into your inventory. Aether clusters are really, really good. So I'm going to have one of those, and I'm going to keep it in my inventory right there. I am going to put it on button number 7. This is just where I put them. And I always have it on button number 7. I don't know why, but there you go. There it is. Always on button number 7 for me. As long as you have it somewhere where you can remember where it is and you're going to hit it in a panic. Now, normally I would rift back to town and then come back and grab those, but I'm also really bad at remembering that I have a rift gate active, and I really don't want to run through the entirety of Cronley's lair again. So I'm going to go get the next rift gate, then I'm going to go back to town. Also, do note that the Devil's Crossing faction is almost respected. That is what we want to see. And we will get them to respected, or, yeah, it is respected. We will get them to respected once we turn in the quests for killing all of Cronley's idiots. Alright, let's grab this. We'll go back to Old Arcovia first. We have some quests to turn in here. There's also a merchant here, which is nice. Alright, so I've destroyed the forges, I've killed moneybags, and Cronley's dead. So there's friendly with the rovers. Got some texts for you, farewell. And Ava here wants the royal jelly. So she wouldn't talk to me before because I didn't have enough reputation. I've got it now, so we can give that to her. Let's just go ahead and eat that first. Now I can put these on, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to vendor all of these items. I do want to keep the redden ring, but I think the rest of this can go. And if I happen to have accidentally sold something that was really, really good, I don't think I care. I really should keep that. I also really don't want to be swapping that set in and out every time I do a bunch of quest turn-ins, so I'm just not going to do it. However, I will mention right now that when you actually do a quest turn-in, so when I talk to Mornay over here, if I have this on, if I have this helmet on, if I crafted the pants and the chest, and if I had the boots drop, if I had this full set on, I would get 20% more quest XP for turning these in. Okay. There's level 25. There's respected with Devil's Crossing. This is what we wanted. So we come here to Ellis here, we go to the respected tab, and the one we want is... where is it? Where is it? Bladesworn Talisman. So we want to get this, and we want to make one of these. So let's go ahead and buy the blueprint, right-click to use it, and let's see what we need to actually make it. Bladesworn Talisman, I need 1 resilient plating. How convenient, I can craft 1 resilient plating. There's my Bladesworn Talisman. And what this does, ignore everything on this except for the orange text in the middle. The last sentence of that orange text reads, also enables the ability to dual-wield melee weapons. Now these things give you +3 to raise skeletons, which is really nice, but they also give you 1 whole additional skeleton. So now, we had 9 before, now we got 10. So this is really, really good. We are definitely converting everything 100% over to Aether, or at least as far as the physical damage now. Whether you had 2 of these with the minimum roll on them or not, all of your physical damage is going to be Aether damage now, and there's nothing you can do about it. Unless, of course, you're wearing another item that will convert it. But those are very rare. So we want to do that. Yes, I just lost 8% physical resistance. Yes, I just lost 19% Aether resistance. Yes, I just lost some physique. Yes, I lost some more health. It's fine. An extra pet is worth way more. So let's go ahead and keep the add-on here. Chuck that on there. And we just got a fairly big boost to our power. something like, what's that, 9%, 10% additional damage from having an extra skeleton. But it's actually more than that because we're getting extra flat damage from both of these auras. We're getting extra chances to proc the devotion. It's just really, really, really good. Okay, do I want these pants? Yes, I do. So we're going to swap that component back in. Keep the add-on. Yes, I'm sure. Put it on there. We're actually past the point where I need that. So we don't have that silk swatch. We've only got the one on the chest, which means I don't need a second one anymore. So we can get the scaled hide and put that on our pants, and then our armor rating. You'll notice the right-hand column there, armor absorption, 84%. That's going to go up to 98%, which means only 2% of incoming physical damage ignores our armor. We also are at 25 out of 16, so as soon as we get any item with +1 to all necromancer skills, of which there are several, we will be looking pretty good. Soul shards, probably want to get one of those on here instead of the health, but I think I'll leave that for now. Alright, so we need food. That quest we can't complete yet, so I'm just going to ignore that. And we are instead going to go and do Twin Falls, because Twin Falls has a devotion shrine in it that I want. And this is the point where I'm probably going to stop and go and do the Forgotten Gods stuff. I'm also going to put Call of the Grave on button number 4. Now this is a damage steroid for our pets, and once we get to the second half of Homestead, it's also going to be a self-heal. So every time we push this, we get a little heal on our character, not on our pets, just the character, which is quite nice. But for the moment, it's just a bit of a damage buff for the pets, which is, granted, pretty good. We do love our damage buffs here on this particular character. As far as skill points go, we've got 1 point in Rotting Fumes. This is going to give our Smelly Potato a little bit more smelly. He's going to do poison damage around him, generate additional threat, chance for things that he hits with it to miss. Impaired aim and fumble are the same thing, one's for range, one's for melee. It's basically just a chance for them to not hit. And we got 1 point there, so it's time to max out the Blight Fiend. I did come here to check for the totem and also for the quest item, but they're not here. That's fine. We'll go ahead and grab the quest here from Balvaruk. And we will do that quest and then promptly not turn it in for about 40 levels, which is fine. We have got the Ancient Lectern here. There are 3 locations in Twin Falls where this can spawn. So either here where mine was, over here, just against this little backdrop there, or up here, and you can't possibly miss it over there. As long as we're here. There is some more loot in the walls here. You'll notice we're off the map now. Just got a hidden spoils. As usual, nothing we're actually going to use, but, you know, it's not a bad thing. There's always a chance it could be a ring with +2 to raise skeletons on it. It's almost never going to be that, but it could be. It definitely could be. Alright, the only other thing we have left to do here in Twin Falls is to go and, well, there are actually a few other things, but the only thing we are going to do is get this devotion shrine. This is where your other lectern will be, if you didn't already find it. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this on. There's still a few skeletons and such crawling out of the ground. It's probably fine. Probably. Alright, there we go. We have just completed our second devotion constellation, Shepherd's Call. And we're going to put that onto Bone Harvest. So now whenever we use Bone Harvest, there is an 85% chance, if we only hit a single target. If we hit 2 targets, this is probably something like 97%. But the chance for this to trigger, it's going to go off every 6 seconds when we use Bone Harvest. And it's going to be giving us 50% increased damage to our pets, 10% increased critical damage to our pets, and we ignore the retaliation stuff because it doesn't really matter. So now your entire existence is keeping that buff active. Let's go ahead and do the totem while we're in the area. So we've got a very large increase in damage for our pets. Unfortunately, it's only temporary. You can see here the... Can't see there, I didn't trigger it. There it is. Shepherd's Call there. Doesn't last as long as the cooldown, so it won't be up all the time. And same deal for Call of the Grave here. 10-second duration, 24-second skill recharge. It's not available all of the time. And the Boots of Unseeing Swiftness is a Morrowind reference, I'm pretty sure. We're not going to use them. Let's just have a quick look at this. These are not bad. Mighty of Heroism's not horrible. That's not as much armor. That is pretty good as in terms of resistances. Stonehide is a really good prefix. Unfortunately, I just don't need Pierce, Poison, or Bleeding Resist at the moment. They're all decently over the cap here. So I don't think I'm going to bother with that. These boots have a chance to slow you down by 20%. When you get hit, granted, they also have 24% movement speed as a default kind of thing, so you'll still be faster. I don't like these because you slow down when you get hit. Even though it is a boost, I just don't like them, so I'm not going to use them. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this episode. So next episode we are going to be heading into Forgotten Gods proper, and we'll be heading up the expansion towards this area so we can farm ourselves some fire daggers. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.